Hey guys, so welcome back to another album review, and this one there's no words for. I've heard about this thing almost as if it were a thing of legend at this point for how long I've been hearing about it, but I've also heard how freaking obscure it is to even find it. I knew it was on YouTube, but at the same time, I don't know, I just never checked it out there. But I don't know if this recently was added to Spotify or if it's been there the whole time and it just got recommended to me. I don't know. It showed up in one of my daily For You mixes that it curates, and I spotted a song from it. And I was like, wait, that's on here? All right, morbid curiosity's winning out. I have to know. I have to know, what is this? What is it like? What does it sound like? I need to know. So, I had to find out this album, or I mean, this video is going to be reviewing the album, which, oh god, I don't know why it exists. I don't know who asked for this. I really, truly don't understand. There's so many questions that just seem to be summed up with why. So we're gonna go through it track by track, and I'm gonna tell you my thoughts and try to give it some kind of a numerical rating by the end of it. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna try. So the first track is Disco Mickey Mouse, as opposed to the album title being Mickey Mouse Disco. Yeah, that's not confusing or anything, right? Like, okay. So let me just start the saying there is no Disney character singing on this. There is nothing about this track that sounds even remotely Disney. The only thing at all is that it does name drop Mickey Mouse. But other than that, this sounds like any generic disco you could have found in Studio 54. This came out in 1979. So it's right in there. It's right in there. Part of me wonders if this was ever played in that nightclub that was in Disney World, like back in the 80s. I don't know if it was or wasn't. This is purely just me being curious about shit, but I don't even know what to think of this. It just sounds so stereotypically disco, which I mean can be fun. I don't hate disco. I enjoy disco, but I'm like, this I'm not seeing how it translates to Disney per se. This feels like the cheapest cash grab I've ever seen. It was like the most generic disco. And you just threw in Mickey Mouse's name and went, "Yep, Disney." Yeah. But I mean, it is kind of an earworm, I'm not gonna lie. So there is that. So the second track is called Welcome to Rio. And first off, what was with the 70s and having so many Rio songs? Just, I'm curious. Was there something with Rio that I'm unaware of, like pop culture wise or societally? Like, what was going on with Rio in the 70s to where everyone wanted it on this? Everyone wanted to write Rio songs. I don't understand, but I know so many Rio songs from the 70s, and I don't understand. I've always wondered. And this is no exception. It's yet another one to add to the list. So it's like, huh, kind of curious, but at the same time, I'm also definitely intrigued. But I'm like, I don't understand. This one is even less Disney than the last track because unless somebody is familiar with the Three Caballeros, they are not going to get the very, very subtle reference that is dropped in the song. They're just not. So I'm like, interesting choice. I mean, I guess I get they're like getting on that same bandwagon as so many others before them, but at the same time, it's also like, what is happening here? I'm so confused. But again, it's catchy, and I can see where like a little kid would love this and play it over and over to death, like straight up. It just, again, I'm like, how is this Disney other than that one very, very subtle name drop that most people aren't even going to get? It's going to go whoosh right over their heads. I don't know. Okay, third track. It's a mixed bag because on one hand, this sounds like it could have easily been like a throwaway track from ABBA, but on the other hand, Oh my god, like 3 of the 4 minutes. Like it takes till 3 minutes in to even figure out how they're gonna Disneyfy this. They're just talking about a generic greatest band, but then oh, 3 whole minutes in, it starts name dropping the random Disney characters that are in this band. There's no voice acting for these characters, mind you. They're just name dropped and then has, I guess, the instrument they're supposed to be playing, which still paints a picture in your head, a pretty vivid one at that. I'll give it credit there. But I don't know, there's something about that just like given the instruments they gave most of them, it made it kind of cringe. If they'd been like better instruments, I feel like this could have been a solid track all the way through, like possibly maybe the best one. I don't know. But then that kind of wrecked it. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, straight up. This disco version of Zippity Doo Dah, I feel like unlocked some deep repressed memory of like the early days of the Disney Channel. I can't state where, I can't state when, but I am like 99% positive I heard it at least once in those early days of the Disney Channel. Watching it in like the 80s, maybe even like very, very start of the 90s. But I couldn't place what exactly it would have been on, but I feel like I am positive I have heard this at least once at some point in my life. It was like the biggest deja vu thing. It was bizarre. That aside, um, this is more like what I thought this album was going to be: disco versions of classic Disney songs. And is it just me, or did like Zippity Doo Dah used to be like a big ass deal when it came to Disney songs, and then just as quickly like got buried? Like 80s, 90s, they still used it a ton. Sometime around the 2000s, that's when they started burying it. And I mean, I get the whole discourse around Song of the South. Trust me, we're not opening that can of worms today, but I understand. But it is interesting how that song, even long after the movie had been vaulted, even after it had pretty much been shelved and been like, yeah, let's just not talk about that one. Let's pretend Song of the South didn't happen. The song, though, was still prevailing. And I'm kind of curious now if we're retiring the song to, I don't know. I don't know. But this is one of those tracks that I feel like you either love it or you hate it. Like either it's like the biggest amount of cringe you could ever hear in your life, or it's like actually I could kind of get down with this one. Not gonna lie, I kind of love it. I kind of love it. Um, like no shame, I straight up do. I think it's catchy as hell. I think it's like a nice what was then modern reworking, and now it's dated as all hell, but it's like 50 years old almost now. But for the time when this was made, yeah, it was like a kind of cool update. I don't know what else there is to say about it, but I kind of like this one. Just gonna be honest. They did a Disney-fied cover of Macho Man. It's Macho Duck. It's as bad as you would anticipate. It would be cringy enough if it were just the music part straight up. But then you throw in the Donald Duck talking over the whole thing, which is the first voice acting we've gotten in the entire album. And suddenly it is crystal clear why we don't have voice acting across the whole album. It's like, oh god, make it stop. Just make it stop. By like a minute in, I was already looking at the runtime on this track, like, dear god, how much longer is this? Like, I almost tapped out. I fucking can't with this one. Oh my god. Like, I sat through it this once, and it is one time too many already. Just oh god, I feel bad for any parents who had to listen to this on repeat from their little darlings playing it over and over and over again. Just oh god, no. Okay, so the track Mousetrap, honestly, it could have just been like a normal disco song. It's about a mouse Supposedly, allegedly, the lyrics are kind of vague enough to where I'm like, is it about a mouse? Or is this like oddly sexual? Like, what is going on? They never name drop Mickey. So this genuinely could have been just a normal ass disco song. It's the same singers from the opening track. I don't know who they are. I kind of wonder how they are today. I hope they're doing well. I don't know what they went on to do with their lives later, but like they are like the most generic disco sounding singers ever. So I'm sure they found other work outside of this. No freaking problem. But I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a bop. I kind of like this one so far. I think this one now is the fave. Oh my god. The fact that I can even pick out a track and be like, oh yeah, I think this is my fave of it. Like, I would listen to that one again. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Oh no. I wasn't supposed to like this. So the next track is called Watch Out for Goofy, and it's exactly what it sounds like it would be. Basically, them roasting Goofy in song for not being able to dance. Is anyone surprised? Not I. It does have a little voice acting in it by Goofy, but only in just like one little spot in the middle. Unlike the Macho Duck disaster that just literally went through the whole thing and was obnoxious. This, I'm like, I mean, it's still a little cringe, but at least it's just the one part. The rest of it's okay. It's okay. I can see where maybe it might be catchy on the right day, but like, it's just, it's kind of mid. It's not bad, but I feel bad for Goofy. They're just like ragging on him. It's like, we love him, but he just can't dance. Like, dude, doing him dirty. Like, why? Why are you so mean to Goofy all the time? Just he tries his best. Oh god, I'm so glad there's only two more tracks. There's only 9 albums. Or 9 albums. Jesus, God, no. 9 songs on this album. The runtime is only 29 and a half minutes. Thanks, sweet baby Jesus. So, guess we will try those last couple tracks. So, the next track, disco version of It's a Small World. So, depending on which side of the line you fall on with It's a Small World, some of you already believe it's like the worst thing in the Disney park and the worst song ever. Now they made it disco. Make of that what you will. Dear God. Like, the intro was catchy, but like the second it hit the first, like how fast my head whipped around, like, bitch, what? Like, what the hell is happening? Oh my god. Why? Why does this exist? Why did they make this? Of all the songs you could have done, that one? Really? Okay. All right. Just, I'm questioning so many things. Like I said, just the question of why keeps running through my head through this whole thing. At least there's only one more track. So the last track on the album is a disco version of Chim Chim Cheree. And when I realized what was happening, part of me was like, oh, you did not. Don't bring my beloved Mary Poppins into this. But it was it was an instrumental with the exception of like backing vocals that didn't like sing words. Nobody actually sang the lyrics of the song. It was still an instrumental of the song. They're just like the weirdest, most unnecessary background vocals ever. Like, honestly, the song would have been better without those. But like otherwise, straight up, like I could have seen this being my damn jam as a little kid. Like straight up would have probably been making my own choreography to go with it and everything. Like I could see the appeal of this one. May have even hearted it on Spotify. It's the only track from the album I did it with, but we made it through. We made it through the whole thing in one piece, more or less. So, oh my god, I think I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10, believe it or not, which sounds ridiculously high for what it is, but like, there are some solid enough tracks on it. Like, it's not a total wash, but I will say, like, just the whole thing is so bizarre. I don't see myself going back to it other than maybe the one track. But it is one of those like morbid curiosity listens that once you know it's there, and if you are like genuinely like a Disney fan, like I could see you like probably checking it out once just to see. But yeah, it's like a weird little oddity. I see why people bring it up now because it's like not something I would ever have in regular rotation, that's for sure. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad I know it exists. I'm kind of glad that I did listen to it this one time. One time was plenty, but I'm glad I listened to it the one time just to satisfy the curiosity because the cover kind of had me intrigued. I'm not gonna lie. And given I grew up during like the whole like 80s ifying of Disney songs, I have seen this before. Just with making it 80s instead of making it disco. I've seen how a riot can get. I've seen it actually get uglier than this. So I'm like, it could be worse than this. It could be worse. Unless you are like really, really strictly anti disco, in which case, you do you. Probably just stay away from this one if you are. But otherwise, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. Not even the worst disco thing I've ever heard. I've heard much worse. So yeah, I don't know. I was expecting this to be like a total shit show, start to end. I was expecting it to be so bad. It kinda isn't. I'm gonna be real with you. It kinda isn't. Yeah, those are my thoughts on it. So, as usual, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.